Hi, my name is Thomas Legendre, and I teach at the School of English at the University of Nottingham. My latest project is a novel called Spring Fever. It's a quantum romantic techno-thriller with a literary sensibility. It involves a young woman working for a digital media company, an ice hockey player who talks like a continental philosopher, and a global virus affecting computers and humans in disturbing ways. You're about to see a performance of scenes and other material drawn directly from the novel. I hope you enjoy it.
Amanda worked at Hocus Locus, a digital media company, rewriting articles selected by certain proprietary algorithms and then planting them across websites and microfeeds until they went viral. Her posts, along with their integrated adverts, were seen by tens of thousands on a daily basis. On the slate today was a post-game interview with a man called Craig Mallow, who played for the Nottingham Panthers.
So, tell us, Craig, how did it feel to score that game-winning goal?
Phenomenal. That's how it feels, Jack. Like everything else, it arises from the dual grounding of experience in both subjectivity and objectivity.
Sorry?
The subjectivity and objectivity of experience. It's inner feel and outward grip on the world.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I mean, shooting the puck isn't just a mental process. I experience it as not merely a state of mind, but also a state of body and bodily behavior.
Well, that bodily behaviour certainly won it for the Panthers today. Heck of a play, Craig.
Amanda leaned in closer to the screen. Then she clicked over to more footage.
So, Craig, how did you manage that turnover in the second period?
Honestly, Jack, it happened because the world is not pure being, but rather the sense that shines forth at the intersection of my experiences with those of the other players in a sort of gearing into each other.
I thought it was because you hit check Barnes at the blue line.
Yeah, that too. I nailed him. But his body wasn't an object for me. It was a behavior whose sense I understood from within, virtually, by a certain gestural communication through the sedimentations and possibilities of my own body. And when I perceived his behavior, the world became the world intended by his behavior. It was no longer my world alone. This shared being in the world, if you like, allowed me to know where he was going. You saw the rest. Razzie took the puck out, wrister, glove side. Great stuff.
Amanda was beta testing something called an IS, Intelligent System, which wasn't a single app or lens, but rather an integration of various custom mappings and attribute transformations into a single functioning network with biochemical interfaces. This required a digital meshing, not only of her devices and clouds, but also her physical condition as a dataset in itself, with its own ranking and stacking algorithms, its own semantic functions, its own rich data. Like everyone else, she was accustomed to the health sensors in the public infrastructure, in the CCTVs and microscanners, the transport and access points, the touchpads and consumer devices with their redundant checks. Even the so-called Luddites admitted that advancements in technology had made the world safe again. But that was an exterior, an exoskeleton or suit of armor, whereas this IS crossed the boundary into her organic self.
We're open to the world, and we're embedded in it. You see, Jack, my body is a sensible existence for itself, in which colors and surfaces are inhabited by vision and touch, such that, caught up in the tissue of things, my body draws them entirely to itself, and, with the same movement, communicates to them the very identity without superposition, the very difference without contradiction, and the very divergence between inside and outside that constitutes their presence. One can say simultaneously that we perceive the things themselves, and we are the world that thinks itself. The world is at the heart of our flesh. Spring fever infected social media over the weekend. It altered heuristics and timestamps. It adjusted filters and privacy settings. It reversed virtue signals, turned fake smiles upside down, and replaced pseudonyms with legal names alongside photos culled from driving licenses and passports. Containment protocols and lockdowns had no effect. It struck randomly, or selectively, according to certain reports, at some users while leaving others untouched. And though it was first identified in Australia, where it was named accordingly, further analysis revealed data signatures from China, India, Japan, Russia, Britain, and the United States in a series of mutating codes that overrode encryptions and tunneled through firewalls with such spooky finesse that some data engineers doubted it was a virus at all. Artificial intelligence had arrived, they said. But instead of launching nuclear missiles or solving cold fusion, it was performing the dance of the seven veils.
Curiously, though, it didn't bother Amanda one bit. Sometimes Amanda thought of herself as a separate person depicted in a film or novel with a commentary in her own voice, more or less, but also a slight detachment, detailing the subtle aspects of her consciousness interfused with her outer life, the deeper balance of herself that was invisible and unknown to others. This happened in solitary moments. It happened in groups, in crowds. It happened riding on the tube or running in the park or dancing with her arms raised in the flashing lights. This person, called Amanda Nye, framed at a certain angle, and it seemed to be a way of setting perspective on herself. Maybe it came from that TV series about a wedding planner who moonlighted as an assassin with her own voiceovers referring to herself in the third person. Maybe it came from those 19th century novels she consumed in the shock of her first job, seeking wisdom in the struggles of others voiced calmly into balance. Or maybe it was that sense of slipping consciousness she felt, her existence as the centre of everything that was actually nothing except herself.
Bloody disruption.
I nearly fell over myself with it.
With what?
Ripples, eh? Space-time.
In and out like an accordion.
I didn't feel anything.
It's those two black holes that collided 1 billion light years away.
I reckon the larger one is 36 solar masses. The other maybe 29 by the feel of it.
Half the speed of light they came at each other, bloody things.
You follow what she's saying?
The speed is what got me. Really, the two of them circling round each other 250 times a second.
How do you know that?
How could you not? They collapsed into a single black hole in 1/5 of a second, losing 3 solar masses worth of energy. And both of them vaporized into gravitational waves releasing more than 50 times the output of all the stars in the universe combined, rippling our way till it reached us this morning. Enough to wake the dead, that.
I didn't feel anything.
Like a carnival ride. Woke up my baby girl. Oh, you haven't caught it yet?
Caught what?
Spring fever.
But that's a computer virus. It's electronic.
Electrons are in everything, Pep.
Living, dead.
Animate, inanimate.
What's the difference?
We need to stop it from spreading.
You're too late. It's everywhere.
There was no schedule for the sensations of spring fever, as far as she could tell. No rhythm or pattern to it. Gravity quakes and some overpaths were a constant feature of reality, but only seemed to flare into awareness at odd intervals. Spring fever was a gremlin in not only the body electric, but also the human mind. Yet even in these lulls, she felt at odds with everyone. Everyone, that is, apart from Craig Mallow, her metaphysical partner in crime. Do you understand what I'm saying?
A digital pandemic, because of you.
And you?
Me?
This whole thing started when you appeared on the feeds. If they're looking for the source, you're the one they really want. I'm just the messenger.
Let go of that subject-object dichotomy. Medium and message have the same existential modality, co-determining and constituting each other dialectically. Besides, I've always been this way. Why would it be any different now?
Do you think it could be both of us? Like, bits of our DNA, or not DNA, but something. Electrons, quarks, something. Crossing over from one person to another, combining into something new. A mutation, a hybrid, a subatomic virus.